What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you tuning in. We are going to talk a little KD right now as the trade rumors continue to swirl, and two new teams have kind of entered the mix. I don't really know how one of them would work. I don't really see how the contracts would line up, but still kind of fun. The first one's the easiest one, and it's kind of one that people have started to toss around a little bit, is with the Knicks and them kind of being over Karl Anthony Towns, and trade would be straight up. It's pretty clean. KD straight for Cat. They get another good scorer, great scorer alongside Brunson right after they make the Eastern Conference Finals, and they have a guy now that's a bona fide extra option scorer, which they desperately needed because for so long during that stretch, it was pretty much Brunson or bust. They do then have some serious defensive deficiencies. You are banking a lot that Mitchell Robinson would be able to play a lot for them, and I don't know if you get the same return on investment if he starts logging heavy minutes versus if he's just kind of the energy big that comes in that runs the court. On the flip side, for the Suns, you get a guy that played Devin Booker. You get a guy that's on the same age and the same kind of timeline for when they would want to try and be good and stuff again. Just it doesn't do a lot for me. Like, the contracts work out, but Karl Anthony Towns has got 4 years left on his deal. And I don't know. I know rosters turn over really quick in this league, but it feels like, are they going to be competing for something serious within 4 years now? As crazy as that sounds, considering they were in the finals just a few years back. I don't know. At this point, with kind of the season that he had, Devin Booker doesn't look like he's a top 10 player. Is he a top 20? Maybe. Probably not now. Is Karl Anthony Towns? He had a good year. Was he top 20? Fringy? Maybe. Is that the backbone of this team? You're going to have two guys that are like fringe top 20 players? And then more importantly, I think this needs to get blown up. They need to hit full reboot. But the problem is you're not getting any draft picks back. You're not getting any draft capital at all. No young players. You're kind of just trading out your problem for the same one, just younger. Probably a little bit less talented, a little less, KD obviously in the scheme of things in his career is going to have a way better career than Cat, but like maybe a little bit better fit, if you want to say that. I don't know what this does for Nick Richards. I don't know. You were running two bigs. There's a lot of question marks still surrounding everything if they were to make that move. But like, it doesn't do a ton for me. I just really think what they need to be going for is getting some draft picks and getting some young players. That's not either part of this package. It's just Cat, who's fine, but it doesn't push them in the direction that they need to be going, which is, I think, a full rebuild. And I don't know how much it does for the Knicks either. And the big question now really is for the Knicks. I mean, I think it helps the Knicks, but I don't know if it's a piece that gets them fully over the top. Question for the Knicks now is, do they do that, or was their big move this offseason firing Tibbs? Because that was a bit of a surprise move. I mean, after he got them to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years, in 5 years he got them to the playoffs 4 times, and they made it back-to-back playoffs for the first time since the 90s. Feels like that guy he knocked off the Celtics this year. I mean, or back-to-back 50-win seasons for the first time since the 90s. How make the playoffs? Feels like he earned an opportunity to be there for a while. They were pretty well liked. I don't know about the idea of playing your starters 40-plus minutes every night. didn't have much of a bench. That wasn't like he had a crazy amount of time, but when he needed to in the postseason, some of those guys like stepped up a little bit and showed that they could play. It just, I don't know if they're now in the market of making the full move. Had they kept Tibbs, and you hear all the rumblings, you see all the reports now about how the team was kind of frustrated with the way that Cat plays defense and just, it's not always a effort thing. It's kind of a lack of awareness thing with him. And like he just doesn't read plays very well defensively. So I don't know. I don't know if that's really going to be one there, or if that's just smoke and mirrors. It doesn't do a ton. I think it helps out a little bit because you get younger, but they need draft picks. The Suns do. They need young players. They need a lot. They need to rebuild. And Cat's not in a piece that you would have towards a rebuild. So I don't know how much that really does for him. The other one gets real interesting. It gets real complicated. The Toronto Raptors are coming up out of the woodwork because apparently they believe they have a good shot at getting both Giannis and KD. Now, you pair those two guys together, you're cooking with some grease. That's not bad. And Giannis still has years left of his prime. The problem with this whole thing that I see for the Suns is, and I've been saying this since the moment it became clear that Giannis is going to be on the open market, this is now the summer of Giannis. It is not the summer of KD. It was until Giannis became available. But Giannis is a top 3 best player in the entire league, and he's still got 5 years left of being dominant. Absolutely dominant. This guy's coming off a crazy efficient year. And if it were not for two guys having historic years ahead of him, he would have been right there in the MVP voting. I mean, he was firmly the 3rd best guy in the league this year. So, I mean, that's great for them. The problem is, if you are making trades, if you are Toronto, the first call is going to be to Milwaukee. Milwaukee is going to get the lion's share of everything they want in this trade. And then once that is done, the scraps, whatever is left, would be going for Phoenix to try and get KD. Now, to their credit, they're showing a little self-awareness. Reports are coming out that the Suns have backed off of their initial request for 4 first-round picks for KD, and kind of what they were looking to get, and have now tailored it and scaled it back a little bit. I thought that was crazy. I know they were trying to set the market, but there was nobody that was going to give them 4 first-round picks for him. At his age and where they are, like, that was not going to be on the option. I thought if they can get 2, that'd be good. 2 and some young players would be amazing. But 4 is crazy. Now, that being said, Toronto does have a lot of picks to play with. They own every single one of their first-round picks from right now through 2031. That is 7 picks. They also have the 9th overall pick this year. Now, and they also have some tradable assets that would be not that bad. So there's a lot of different things in here that make this pretty interesting for both teams. But again, it's going to come down to what does Milwaukee want and then what is left. So Milwaukee is going to want to move off Giannis. Obviously, that's their number one trade piece. So he's making, which I thought this was wild, he's only making $48.8 million this year, which is less than Kevin Durant, which is less than Bradley Beal, which is less than Devin Booker. I just said he's a top 3 player, and none of those 3 players are ahead of him. I mean, Giannis is on a really cheap deal, and he's got 4 years left on that contract. So if you start with that premise, so that's where the initial trade is going to go for. They got to get $48 million to match the books. So I think Toronto would probably do their best to try and keep Emmanuel quickly. After that, it's pretty much open for sale. So if they were to trade, RJ Barrett is making about 25. Jacob Poeltl is making about 20. You're at 45 now. You're just about there. And I think they would want to try and get Grady Dick as well, who's shown a lot of upside. Young guy. How many firsts do you get for Giannis in that situation? Probably 4, and maybe like a pick swap or 2. probably 4 in a pick swap, somewhere around there. So that takes about 5 of the first-round picks off the board and some of the good contracts. So that would leave, in that trade scenario, you're probably, if you are Phoenix, taking Brandon Ingram back, who's making 36. So you're about 15, a little less than 15 shy. I don't know if they're going to give up Scotty Barnes. That feels like someone who also they would want to keep. But if you can get Scotty Barnes in there, that'd be awesome. They also really had trouble trying to figure out the point guard situation this year. I think Jamal Sneed still has a lot of upside once he gets really fully healthy. He's only making 2, but there's some couple throw-in guys that you could end up making this work, but I think the deal would be built around Brandon Ingram and such and such. Now that's assuming that Milwaukee doesn't want, I mean, it's assuming that Milwaukee wants RJ Barrett over Brandon Ingram, which I would think they would because of just sheer age. So then you get that and a couple first-round picks. How do we feel about that? But, how we feel about getting Brandon Ingram. You're not going to probably get Scotty Barnes, but if you got Brandon Ingram, Jamal Sneed, and toss in another contract filler and 2 firsts, it's not great. At least Ingram has shown that he can score. I mean, that's a guy that can get you still 20 to 25. There's a ceiling. It's not like he's going to get you over the top, but you'd at least be someone interesting. You get a lot younger, and you get a couple picks out of it. How long would you have to wait for those picks? Is Milwaukee going to want all of their picks right away? I actually don't think they would, because you'd be assuming that Toronto would be pretty good in the interim, so you'd want to push it further back. So maybe that means you get, they're going to want the first pick this year, so the 9th pick overall, but the year after that and everything left, probably not. It's not a bad haul. It's pretty good. Contracts work out, but they'd be living in the world of, hey, Milwaukee, what do you want? Okay, so what's left? Okay, now this is what we'd be looking for. It's not a great place to be, but they also are going to have to wait for the Giannis piece to fall no matter what before they make the trade, because every single team that would be interested in KD would be even more interested in Giannis. And they're going to do everything they can to get Giannis first, and if they can't get him, then it's going to be like, hey, who's left? Who still doesn't have a dance partner? Oh, it's Phoenix. Let's see what we can do there. It's okay. It's okay. It's not great. Thing is, as you continue to scan the landscape, it's not great out there right now. So maybe just okay is what Phoenix is going to have to settle on. I think it's better than Cat. So let me know what you think. You like either of those? I still think they need to wait and see if they can make a deal with the Rockets. The Rockets just make the most sense. Young pieces. They need a guy that can just score. They got Phoenix's draft picks. Go get those back. This is like the movie, is it Draft Day? Where he gives away all of his picks initially and then makes all these different moves to try and get them back. That's exactly what Phoenix needs to do right now. So we'll see. Again, I don't love it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Let me know what y'all think.